The safety razor, patented by King Camp Gillette in 1901, revolutionized personal grooming by making shaving affordable and safe at home. This invention replaced dangerous straight razors with disposable blades, creating a new business model for consumer goods. Air conditioning, invented by Willis Carrier in 1902, was originally designed to control humidity in a printing plant. It eventually reshaped the American demographic landscape by making living and working in the Sun Belt comfortable year-round. The airplane, successfully flown by the Wright brothers in 1903, marked the first powered, sustained, and controlled flight of a heavier-than-air aircraft. This breakthrough shrank the globe, transforming travel, commerce, and warfare forever. The vacuum tube, developed by Lee DeForest in 1906, amplified electrical signals and acted as a switch. It became the fundamental component of early electronics, enabling radio, television, and early computers. The electric washing machine, introduced by Alva Fisher in 1908, utilized an electric motor to agitate clothes and remove dirt. This appliance significantly reduced the physical labor and time required for domestic chores. The assembly line, implemented by Henry Ford in 1913, drastically reduced the time it took to build an automobile. By lowering costs and increasing production speed, it made cars accessible to the average American and revolutionized manufacturing. The zipper, perfected by Gideon Sundback in 1913, provided a reliable and convenient method for fastening clothing and gear. It quickly replaced buttons and hooks in everything from boots to tobacco pouches. The supermarket, pioneered by Piggly Wiggly in 1916, introduced the concept of self-service grocery shopping. This innovation lowered food prices through efficiency and changed the way people purchased their daily necessities. The pop-up toaster, invented by Charles Strite in 1919, introduced a timer mechanism that ejected the toast when it was ready. It eliminated the need to constantly watch the bread to prevent burning, becoming a kitchen staple. The Band-Aid, created by Earl Dixon in 1920, was designed to allow his wife to dress her own small kitchen cuts. It combined tape and gauze into a single, sterile product that created the market for adhesive bandages. The lie detector, or polygraph, invented by John Larson in 1921, measured physiological responses to interrogation questions. While its admissibility in court remains debated, it became a standard tool for law enforcement and security screenings. The bulldozer, developed with a hydraulic blade in 1923, transformed construction and earth-moving projects. Its massive power allowed for the rapid clearing of land and the building of modern infrastructure. Frozen food, developed by Clarence Birdseye in 1924, used a quick freezing method to preserve the taste and texture of fresh food. This invention launched the modern frozen food industry and changed global dietary habits. Masking tape, invented by Richard Drew in 1925, was designed to help auto painters create clean lines on two-tone cars. It was the first pressure-sensitive tape and led to a vast array of adhesive products. The liquid-fueled rocket, launched by Robert Goddard in 1926, demonstrated that liquid propellants could provide enough thrust for space flight. This invention laid the groundwork for the space age and modern rocketry. The garage door opener, invented by C.G. Johnson in 1926, offered convenience and security for the growing number of car owners. It allowed drivers to open their heavy garage doors without leaving the comfort of their vehicles. The garbage disposal, invented by John W. Holmes in 1927, helped manage household waste by grinding food scraps into small particles. This device improved kitchen sanitation and reduced the amount of organic waste sent to landfills. The jukebox, popularized by the Automatic Music Instrument Company in 1927, allowed patrons to select and play music in public spaces. It became a cultural icon of diners and dance halls, shaping the music industry. The iron lung, invented by Philip Drinker in 1928, provided artificial respiration for patients paralyzed by polio. It saved thousands of lives during epidemics and was a precursor to modern ventilators. The electric shaver, patented by Jacob Skick in 1928, allowed men to shave without water or shaving cream. It offered a faster, dry alternative to wet shaving and became a popular grooming tool. Car radio, introduced by Paul Galvin in 1929, brought entertainment and news to motorists. It transformed the driving experience and helped unify the nation through shared broadcasts. Polarized sunglasses, created by Edwin Land in 1929, used a special filter to reduce glare from reflective surfaces. This technology improved vision and safety for drivers and outdoor enthusiasts. Scotch tape, another Richard Drew invention from 1930, was the first transparent adhesive tape. It became indispensable for repairing torn paper and wrapping packages in homes and offices. The electric guitar, pioneered by George Beauchamp and Adolf Rickenbacker in 1931, amplified the sound of the instrument electrically. It became the centerpiece of rock and roll and transformed modern music genres. FM radio, developed by Edwin Armstrong in 1933, offered high-fidelity sound with less static than AM radio. It eventually became the preferred standard for music broadcasting due to its superior audio quality. Nylon, invented by Wallace Carothers at DuPont in 1935, was the first commercially successful synthetic polymer. It revolutionized the textile industry, replacing silk in stockings and finding use in everything from parachutes to toothbrushes. Kodachrome, introduced in 1935, was the first color film that was easy for consumers to use. It captured the vibrant colors of the mid-20th century and preserved memories for generations. The shopping cart, invented by Sylvan Goldman in 1937, allowed customers to buy more goods than they could carry in a hand basket. This invention significantly increased sales for grocers and facilitated the weekly shopping trip. Xerography, invented by Chester Carlson in 1938, was a dry photocopying process that used electrostatic charges. It led to the modern photocopier, which revolutionized office work and document duplication. Teflon, accidentally discovered by Roy Plunkett in 1938, is a plastic with the lowest coefficient of friction of any known solid. It became famous for nonstick cookware and is used in industrial applications requiring heat and chemical resistance. The helicopter, perfected by Igor Sikorsky in 1939, introduced a single main rotor design that allowed for vertical takeoff and landing. This versatility made it essential for rescue missions, transport, and military operations. The Jeep, developed for the military in 1940, was a rugged, four-wheel drive vehicle designed for any terrain. It became a symbol of American engineering during WWII and the ancestor of the modern SUV. The aerosol spray can, refined by Lyle Goodhue and William Sullivan in 1941, allowed for the easy dispensing of insecticides and other liquids. Its portable design made it a standard delivery system for everything from hairspray to paint. Duct tape, created during World War II in 1942, was a waterproof sealing tape originally used for ammunition cases. Its durability and versatility have since made it a universal tool for quick repairs. The Slinky, invented by Richard James in 1943, was a coil spring that could walk downstairs. It became a classic American toy that demonstrated the physics of Hooke's law in a fun way. The kidney dialysis machine, refined by Willem Kalf in the 1940s, filtered waste from the blood of patients with kidney failure. This life-sustaining technology paved the way for artificial organ development. The microwave oven, invented by Percy Spencer in 1945, used electromagnetic waves to heat food rapidly. It revolutionized meal preparation by drastically reducing cooking times for households. Tupperware, introduced by Earl Tupper in 1946, featured an airtight seal that kept food fresh longer. The innovative marketing strategy of Tupperware parties empowered women and changed direct sales. The transistor, invented at Bell Labs in 1947, replaced bulky vacuum tubes with a tiny semiconductor device. It is the fundamental building block of modern electronics, enabling the computer age. The defibrillator, developed by Claude Beck in 1947, used electric shocks to restore normal heart rhythm. This life-saving device became a critical tool in emergency medicine and hospitals. The Polaroid camera, introduced by Edwin Land in 1948, developed photos inside the camera in nearly an instant. It gratified the desire for immediate results and changed how people shared photographs. The Frisbee, popularized by Walter Morrison in 1948, turned a pie tin concept into an aerodynamic plastic disc. It spawned new sports and became a cultural symbol of leisure and play. The credit card, introduced by Diners Club in 1950, allowed consumers to pay for goods and services with a single card. This invention fueled the consumer economy by decoupling purchase from immediate payment. Videotape recording, developed by Ampex in 1951, allowed television programs to be recorded and rebroadcast. It replaced live broadcasts and paved the way for home video consumption. The barcode, invented by Norman Woodland and Bernard Silver in 1952, encoded data in a visual pattern of lines. It eventually automated inventory tracking and checkout processes worldwide. The heart-lung machine, used successfully by John Gibbon in 1953, took over the function of the heart and lungs during surgery. This technology made open-heart surgery possible, saving countless lives. WD-40, created by the Rocket Chemical Company in 1953, was designed to displace water and prevent corrosion on missiles. It became a household essential for lubricating hinges and loosening rusted parts. The solar cell, developed at Bell Labs in 1954, converted sunlight directly into electricity using silicon. This invention laid the foundation for the renewable energy industry and space power systems. The nuclear submarine, launched as the USS Nautilus in 1954, could remain submerged for months without refueling. It altered naval strategy by providing a stealthy, virtually unlimited range. The TV remote, invented by Eugene Polly in 1955, allowed viewers to change channels without leaving their seats. It changed television viewing habits and gave rise to channel surfing. The hard disk drive, introduced by IBM in 1956, allowed for the random access storage of large amounts of digital data. It became the standard storage device for computers for decades. Fortran, developed by John Backus in 1957, was the first high-level programming language. It made computing accessible to scientists and engineers by using a syntax closer to human language. Bubble wrap, invented by Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavins in 1957, was originally intended as textured wallpaper. It became the premier cushioning material for shipping fragile items. The integrated circuit, co-invented by Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce in 1958, placed multiple transistors on a single chip. This breakthrough allowed for the miniaturization of electronics and the exponential growth of computing power. The laser, demonstrated by Theodore Maiman in 1960, produced a focused beam of coherent light. Its applications range from eye surgery and barcode scanners to telecommunications and manufacturing. The birth control pill, approved in 1960, gave women reliable control over their reproductive health. This pharmaceutical invention had profound social and economic impacts on gender roles and the workforce. Communications satellites, pioneered with Telstar in 1962, relayed signals across oceans and continents. They enabled live global television broadcasts and instant worldwide communication. The LED, invented by Nick Holoniak Jr. in 1962, emitted visible light when current passed through it. These efficient, long-lasting lights have replaced incandescent bulbs in everything from displays to home lighting. Space War, created by Steve Russell in 1962, was one of the first digital computer games. It established the medium of video games as a form of entertainment and software development. BASIC, developed by John Kemeny and Thomas Kurtz in 1964, was an easy-to-learn programming language. It democratized computing by allowing students and hobbyists to write their own software. The computer mouse, invented by Douglas Engelbart in 1964, provided an intuitive way to interact with a computer screen. It became a primary input device, fundamental to the graphical user interface. Kevlar, invented by Stephanie Kwolek in 1965, is a synthetic fiber 5 times stronger than steel. It is most famous for its use in bulletproof vests, saving thousands of lives in law enforcement and the military. Aspartame, discovered by James Schlatter in 1965, is a low-calorie artificial sweetener. It became a ubiquitous ingredient in diet sodas and sugar-free foods. The handheld calculator, invented by Jack Kilby in 1967, miniaturized the processing power of a computer into a portable device. It replaced slide rules and changed how math was taught and performed. RAM, random access memory, invented by Robert Dennard in 1968, allowed data to be stored and accessed in any order. This single-transistor memory cell is essential for the speed and function of modern computers. 911 emergency system, inaugurated by AT&T in 1968, provided a universal number for requesting emergency assistance. It streamlined the dispatch of police, fire, and medical services across the country. ARPANET, the precursor to the Internet, went online in 1969, connecting 4 university computers. It developed the packet switching technology that allows digital networks to communicate robustly. The lunar module, built by Grumman in 1969, was the spacecraft that landed men on the moon. It remains the only crewed vehicle to land on a celestial body other than Earth. Unix, developed at Bell Labs in 1969, is a powerful multi-user operating system. It forms the basis for the Internet's infrastructure and operating systems like Linux and macOS. Fiber optics, refined by Corning glass researchers in 1970, allowed for the transmission of data over long distances using light. The floppy disk, introduced by IBM in 1971, was a portable magnetic storage medium. It allowed users to easily transfer data between computers and load software. The microprocessor, the Intel 4004 released in 1971, put a computer's central processing unit on a single chip. It enabled the personal computer revolution and the embedding of intelligence in everyday objects. Email, invented by Ray Tomlinson in 1971, introduced the use of the @ symbol to address messages between computers. It fundamentally changed global communication, replacing letters and memos with instant text. The mobile phone, demonstrated by Martin Cooper in 1973, freed telecommunications from landlines. It evolved into the smartphone, becoming an essential tool for modern life. Ethernet, invented by Robert Metcalfe in 1973, provided a standard for connecting computers in a local area network, LAN. It is the dominant technology for wired computer networking. The Universal Product Code, UPC, first scanned in 1974, standardized product tracking in retail. It streamlined supply chains and made checkout counters faster and more accurate. Post-it notes, created by Spencer Silver and Art Fry in 1974, used a weak adhesive to attach notes temporarily. They became a ubiquitous office supply for reminders and organization. The digital camera, invented by Stephen Sasson in 1975, recorded images using an electronic sensor instead of film. It eventually replaced traditional photography and changed how we capture and store visual history. Gore-Tex, patented by Robert Gore in 1976, is a waterproof yet breathable fabric membrane. It revolutionized outdoor gear by keeping users dry without trapping sweat. The Apple II, released in 1977, was one of the first highly successful mass-produced microcomputers. It brought computing out of the hobbyist lab and into homes and schools. It now powers navigation systems in cars, phones, and countless industrial applications. The spreadsheet, introduced as VisiCalc in 1979, turned the computer into a serious business tool. It allowed for rapid financial modeling and what-if analysis, driving PC adoption in the corporate world. The Space Shuttle, launched by NASA in 1981, was the first reusable spacecraft. It enabled the construction of the International Space Station and the deployment of satellites like Hubble. The nicotine patch, developed by Murray Jarvik and Jed Rose in 1984, delivered nicotine through the skin to help smokers quit. It provided a new therapeutic approach to treating addiction. The Macintosh, launched in 1984, was the first mass-market computer to feature a graphical user interface and mouse. It set the standard for ease of use and design in personal computing. Windows, released by Microsoft in 1985, brought a graphical interface to IBM-compatible PCs. It became the dominant operating system worldwide, standardizing the computing experience. DNA polymerase chain reaction, PCR, invented by Kary Mullis in 1983, allowed for the amplification of DNA sequences. This technique revolutionized genetics, forensics, and the diagnosis of diseases. Stereolithography, invented by Chuck Hull in 1986, was the first form of 3D printing. It allowed for the rapid prototyping of parts, and eventually the manufacturing of complex objects layer by layer. Prozac, approved in 1987, was the first major SSRI antidepressant. It changed the treatment of depression and reduced the stigma associated with mental health medication. Photoshop, released by the Knoll brothers in 1988, became the industry standard for digital image editing. It altered the media landscape by allowing for the seamless manipulation of photography. The firewall, developed by DEC in 1988, monitored and controlled incoming and outgoing network traffic. It became a critical security measure for protecting private networks from cyber threats. The Hubble Space Telescope, deployed in 1990, provided unprecedented views of the universe free from atmospheric distortion. It has fundamentally changed our understanding of cosmology and the age of the universe. The World Wide Web browser, popularized by Mosaic in 1993, made the Internet accessible to the general public. It transformed the web from a text-only academic network into a graphical, multimedia experience. Java, released by Sun Microsystems in 1995, was a programming language designed to run on any device. It became the foundation for many web applications and enterprise software systems. The Palm Pilot, introduced in 1996, was the first successful personal digital assistant, PDA. It popularized handheld computing and paved the way for the modern smartphone interface. DVD, released in 1996, offered high storage capacity for digital video and data. It replaced VHS tapes and paved the way for high-definition home entertainment. Google Search, launched by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in 1998, used a link analysis algorithm to rank web pages. It organized the world's information and became the primary gateway to the Internet. Wi-Fi, standardized in 1999, 802.11b, allowed electronic devices to connect to a network wirelessly. It untethered Internet access, enabling the mobile computing revolution. Bluetooth, finalized in 1999, enabled short-range wireless communication between devices. It eliminated cables for peripherals like headphones and became a standard feature in mobile electronics. The USB flash drive, patented in 1999, provided a durable and portable way to store data. It replaced floppy disks and CDs as the primary method for physical file transfer. The Segway, unveiled in 1999, though released 2001, was a self-balancing personal transporter. While it didn't redesign cities as predicted, it advanced sensor and battery technology for future electric mobility. TiVo, introduced in 1999, was one of the first digital video recorders, DVRs. It gave viewers control over live TV with pause and rewind functions, disrupting traditional advertising models. Traffic cones, invented by Charles Scanlon in 1940, utilized highly visible markers to direct traffic safely. They replaced dangerous concrete barriers and wooden tripods on roadways. The crash test dummy, developed by Sierra Engineering in 1949, allowed for the consistent testing of automotive safety features. These anthropomorphic devices have been instrumental in making cars safer for occupants.